Hello there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now Eddie Hearn has reiterated his claim that Anthony Joshua will knock out Tyson Fury. Now we do know that they are ready to go to contracts, or at least Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are. We don't know so much about Tyson Fury's team at the moment. They haven't made a statement, but the important thing is this fight could be going ahead. And obviously and naturally, Eddie Hearn is backing his man, Anthony Joshua, to knock out Tyson Fury. Now I believe that the first 6 rounds are very important in this fight, because this fight is going to be 12 rounds of what is going to happen, because it is a genuine 50-50 fight. No one knows what's going to happen. Eddie Hearn backs Anthony Joshua to knock him out. Tony Bellew has said that Anthony Joshua will knock him out. Many say that Tyson Fury will school him and outbox him. So it's divided. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone says something different. So we don't know what's going to happen because there are 2 sides. It's divided, as I said, a 50-50 fight. So ultimately this fight will depend upon the 2 fighters, and I believe it will come down to something as simple as who has the better game plan, who is prepared better, because they both have the abilities to beat one another. In my opinion, Anthony Joshua has all of the weapons to knock out Tyson Fury, but then Tyson Fury has all of the weapons to outbox and maybe stop Anthony Joshua late. It's a 50-50 fight. So they both have all of the abilities they need to win the fight. Who has the better game plan? And yes, this is the heavyweight division. All it takes is one punch, even from Tyson Fury, because many say that Tyson Fury is pillow fist and he cannot punch. He can punch. He's shown that in the Deontay Wilder fight, whereas I know he stopped him with accumulation rather than just one big punch. Although in that 3rd round, he did drop him with one big punch. So ultimately, Tyson Fury does have the power there, but you would have to say that Anthony Joshua has more power. But at the end of the day, they both do brilliant things, but different things brilliant. Like, Anthony Joshua has a good jab, neat and tidy. Tyson Fury, his jab ain't neat and tidy, but it's very effective. It comes straight, it comes from the hip. He spins it into the hook and hooks off the jab. So Fury has probably the more variation to his jab, but once they get up close, which Tyson Fury will oblige, because Tyson Fury done it in the Deontay Wilder fight. So Fury will fight on the inside, but I believe Anthony Joshua is the better inside fighter between the 2 of them, because I think that those short, fast, powerful shots on the inside could be devastating in a fight like this. So AJ, I believe, has the better inside game. Maybe the better combinations as well, especially those short, powerful combinations. They are just so devastating and so powerful, and they come so quick. AJ putting together those combinations is just second nature to him. They just come. It's not like he even plans them. You can see that it just flows. He doesn't necessarily load up with them. They just come. Like, I know he lost against Andy Ruiz Jr., but that combination he put together to drop Andy Ruiz Jr. was just incredible. If you watch it back, brilliant combination, gets on the inside against an inside fighter, lands a short uppercut, then a hook. Ruiz is down, because Ruiz didn't see it. Anthony Joshua was not loading up. He threw it loose. So that caused the biggest amount of effect, because it's not the punch that you land and think, God, that landed heavy. That's not necessarily the biggest punch. It's the one where you land it and think, how did that even land? Did that even hurt him? And he's on the floor. David Price alluded to that as well when he fought Alexander Povetkin, that it was a punch that he landed that sent Povetkin over to the other side of the ring and prompted a standing count from the ref. David Price said he didn't even really feel the punch land. He just threw it loose and it landed, and it caused the biggest effect of all of the punches that he threw in that fight. So it's often the punch that you don't really expect to land, or even land with a lot of power, because you throw it loose. That is the most devastating punch, and that is what Anthony Joshua done against Ruiz. It just came natural to him. He wasn't necessarily just trying to do that. He probably barely even thought about it. It was just second nature, and those kind of punches are always the worst for the opponent to deal with. Now, Tyson Fury has been in there with what is considered the most devastating puncher ever in the heavyweight division. He got knocked down twice. He took his best and he still got up and continued. So, considering that, how can Anthony Joshua knock out Tyson Fury if he's got that kind of a chin, where he can take that kind of power and still get up and nearly win the fight by stoppage as well in that last round? Just incredible. Incredible powers of recovery as well as durability. So how can Anthony Joshua stop Tyson Fury if Deontay Wilder couldn't? Well, the answer is simple. Wilder throws one punch at a time. He has little to none punch variation. So Wilder was throwing one shot at a time, and one shot at a time landed, whereas Anthony Joshua won't just throw one punch. He'll throw a couple of them, punches in bunches, as I said, those combinations. So in that, Anthony Joshua can maybe not knock out Tyson Fury with one big punch, but he won't just throw one punch. He'll throw a bunch of them. He'll land a combination. That is what Anthony Joshua will try to get off in this fight. One of the things that seems to be quite common for this fight, for this potential fight, is Anthony Joshua needs to stop him early. Anthony Joshua has the first 6 rounds. Tyson Fury has the final 6 rounds. But ultimately, Anthony Joshua has proven he has the stamina going late. He can go late into fights. He can go 12 rounds. So he's proven that. And there is this stigma that Anthony Joshua does not have the stamina. He cannot go late into fights. He gets tired. And some of that is lactic acid, because obviously he does carry a lot of muscle. But in the Andy Ruiz Jr. fight, in the second one, he didn't get tired. That was because he was in control. When he's in control of the fight, he will not get tired because he is controlling everything. So ultimately, he's not burning nervous energy, and therefore he doesn't get tired, because a pro athlete like Anthony Joshua, who prepares in and out of camp, I mean, he's preparing when he's not even in training camp. So a fighter like that, an athlete like that, who then trains 12 weeks leading up to the fight, will not get tired in a 12-round fight. They just won't, because they have 3 minutes, then a minute rest. So that kind of performance athlete won't tire out and won't have any stamina problems. It's nervous energy that causes the problems. And that was demonstrated perfectly over the 2 Andy Ruiz Jr. fights that Anthony Joshua had. The first one, after he got hurt, he seemed tired. When he recovered, he was tired very quickly again. So ultimately in that fight, he was burning a lot of nervous energy. In the rematch, he was in control. Ruiz was in a situation where he didn't want to be in. He was being boxed at range. He couldn't get on the inside. He couldn't land his short, fast, powerful shots because AJ wouldn't let him. So Anthony Joshua was in control and therefore wasn't burning nervous energy. Whereas in the first fight, he was, because he got hurt, he was down, he'd been down twice, and ultimately Ruiz was working to the body. So Anthony Joshua started to tire out because he wasn't in control. And he did not know how to regain control of the fight because he was always asking his corner team, what should I do now? What punch was it? And all of that stuff. He was completely disorientated by what happened in that third round. And realistically, you can put that down to inexperience because that was what Anthony Joshua's 23rd fight, I believe. So that is extremely early in the career of a pro boxer, especially a world champion at that level. So Anthony Joshua was extremely inexperienced, and therefore, when those things started to happen, when he got hurt and dropped by a fighter he did not believe was capable of doing that, that is when Anthony Joshua lost control of the fight, and therefore started to get tired, even though he was probably physically prepared to go the 12 rounds that night. So given that, in a fight with Tyson Fury, if Anthony Joshua can maintain control of the fight, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be outboxing Tyson Fury and hurting him constantly, because that's not going to happen. It's not going to be that easy. But ultimately, if he can stay in control and feels like he is working to his game plan, then he won't get tired. Plus, he's more experienced now. He had those situations against Klitschko, against Andy Ruiz Jr. He is wise to it. Now, on the other hand, Tyson Fury will lose the first 6 rounds, or he's going to get knocked out in the first 6 rounds and win or stop Anthony Joshua in the last 6 rounds. Look how fast Tyson Fury started against Deontay Wilder. I mean, he is notoriously a fighter who outboxes and ultimately completely befuddles his opponents, but he didn't do that against Deontay Wilder. Well, he did, but in more devastating fashion. He stepped on him early on, dropped him in the 3rd round, hurt him continuously in that fight. He didn't lose a single moment of that fight with Deontay Wilder the second time around. So Tyson Fury has proven that he can start fast, that he can be powerful, that he can do things that many people did not believe he was even capable of, who say he's pillow fit, he cannot punch. He's proven all of that to be wrong. So given that Anthony Joshua has proven he can go 12 rounds, that he can still be strong and win rounds and hurt his opponents late into fights, he stopped Klitschko in round 11, went 12 rounds with Joseph Parker, still winning the later rounds. Same against Ruiz. He's proven that. Tyson Fury has proven he can start fast and be powerful and back his man up and ultimately stop him. So Tyson Fury has proven all of the doubters wrong, that he can start fast and be powerful and devastating with those right hands. Anthony Joshua has also proven that he has the stamina going late into fights. So this isn't necessarily just a fight of two halves, where Anthony Joshua has his biggest chance early on, and Tyson Fury has his biggest chance later on. It's not going to be a fight where Tyson Fury has to survive the first couple of rounds. It's not also going to be a fight where Anthony Joshua has to blow Tyson Fury away early or risk being dragged into a dogfight later on. It is in fact a fight of 3 minutes. 3 minutes at a time. They have 3 minutes to do their work, they have a minute's rest, they come out and do 3 more minutes. That's the way it's going to work. That's the way the fight goes. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have the best opportunities to win each round, to establish their game plan and establish their jab, their punches, their combinations, what they want to do in the fight, while also taking away their opponent's attributes and what they do well, because that is just as important at this level. It's not just about what you're doing, it's about taking away what your opponent does well. So ultimately, that is the important thing. It's a fight 3 minutes at a time. That is what is most important in this fight. It's not a fight of two halves. AJ first 6 rounds, Tyson Fury last 6 rounds. It's not going to be like that. It is in fact going to be a fight that ticks by round. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.